Your hands safe, honey. Tell your baby daddy to find bitches here. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex,
And I'm Mary,
and this is
lawyering out loud.
a podcast about life, lawyering, and
All the things we're mad about.
all right, y'all. This is season 2, episode 2. We are right on time. Just as we promised you all, we are back at it again with some what we hope would be some good content.
Correct.
Mary, how you doing?
Hey, Wendy. I'm well. Had a pretty productive week. Um, uh, I started a new position, so it was actually a nice change of pace. How about you?
Doing pretty good. I was sick for the most part. It snowed in Atlanta,
Yeah.
but we are here. We are here by the grace of all things Almighty.
Amen.
So, also, I'm really excited because this week I am going to be going to Washington State for some work and stuff like that. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be on the West Coast, so that's exciting.
Okay. Nice. What's the time difference? Just so I know when I call you, you're
3 hours.
okay. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. But refrain from calling me.
And no, no.
So what you got going on this week?
This week, you know what? I don't really have a packed week. So I know, aren't you shocked?
Indeed.
And speaking of, I don't have a packed week intentionally because I've been very intentional about what I've been giving my time to and what I've been saying no to. So, as you know, I moved into a new place a month ago and I'm literally just enjoying like being here, getting creative in this space. You know that I paint, I write, I do all these things that I feel like we're on pause for a minute cuz I was creatively in a stump, but being in this new place has very much gotten me going. So, slow week doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. It's just focusing a little bit more on the things that I love.
So I did not tell you this until we were recording, but I am going to be in Florida on Saturday. Yeah, I bought my ticket. I'm gonna be there Saturday to Wednesday. Is you gonna be excited to see me?
Why you be playing with my emotions like this, woman? You bring out this side of me, ma'am.
Oh,
You literally take me on a roller coaster because last week you're like, no, I'm probably not gonna see you till March, and I was like, damn, I thought we were gonna see each other in January. You have me in this abusive relationship, and I don't like it.
first, those strong words. Those are strong words. But yeah, I'm flying from Washington to Florida. That
Yay!
so I could come see
Sure.
you in your space and what you got going on.
We'll give a little tour to the people of us in the same space.
Maybe a little tour, conservative tour, because you don't want
Oh, very
no
conservative.
business.
Very conservative tour. Correct.
Yeah, but I'm super
Oh
excited.
my god, how exciting!
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna be there.
Love that. Oh wait, are you coming for work?
I am going to be doing some work, but my schedule is pretty. It's pretty okay because you have to remember there's a holiday,
Mm.
MLK
Oh, that's
Day. So
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I figured maybe I could get some groceries, cook you some food and stuff like that. Um, and then you could watch your president become president. And maybe we could go live and talk shit about it.
That part I'm fine with.
But yeah, so
No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
for the inauguration.
You and I were talking how you're like Maybe if this happened under Trump, and I literally told you, I feel like we're already there. I feel like we can't escape it. Like everywhere we turn, there's a mention of this man.
Yeah. That's probably because our current president ain't really been doing much, but
That part. I mean, you're not wrong. Um, what I will tell you, and I don't feel like I've told you,
mhm.
this new position that I'm doing is such a welcomed change. So, first day on the job, I cry like 5 times.
But you're always crying. So what's new?
No, 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 no,
Tell
no.
us
I mean,
something we
yes.
don't know.
I mean, yes,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
um so there were people who were graduating. I'm working now with mental health clients who are going through the criminal justice system, and one of the programs that I'm helping run, if they successfully complete a program for a year, their case gets dismissed. And on Monday, my first day, I show up, I go to court, I'm watching my other coworker run everything, and 5 people graduate, and the judge, the state attorney, the family are there, and they're clapping for them. And the client is like, Judge, I'm working at McDonald's. I haven't had a stable job in 10 years. They told me they was going to move me up and give me a raise because I'm doing so well. If you told me that this was going to be my life in a year, I would have never believed it. Like, and so that was just so uplifting, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And like him, there were 5 other stories. So it was beautiful to witness.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I think I have never spoken about on this podcast, and something that's very personal to me, is that I have when my family immigrated to the US from Haiti, one of my mom's brothers who came with us, he is paranoid schizophrenic. He
Mm,
was arrested in Broward County for loitering and trespassing because he
mm,
was having a manic episode, and the police was telling him to get away from someone. He wasn't listening. And when he has these episodes, like even us, he doesn't listen to anybody. Like it's just mental illness.
right.
And growing up, he was the calm one. He was the sweet one. He was a pastor, always very preachy and stuff like that. So to just see like almost like the shell of the
Mm.
person, and the way mental illness has affected him. But he also graduated from that program after he was arrested. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I'm so excited to be now in this division.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I really like, and I think that happens for everybody. I don't know all the details about it, but if you look him up, like his arrest record doesn't show up online anymore.
Mm,
But for a while, like you would search his name, and the first thing you'll see is his mugshot from getting arrested. But now, if you look him up, you don't see any of that. So, um, yeah, so that was like one of the things I thought was also really cool was like it seemed like once the case was dropped, they did internally because I know he couldn't do it. He didn't know how to, but they seem to have done all the processes like themselves on their
right, because the state is the one that has to do it.
yeah, to wipe it off of the internet.
And let me tell you something, it's the first time that I've witnessed state attorneys that care for our clients.
Hmm.
There were some clients, unfortunately, there was 5 success stories, but there were a few that were not success stories.
Yeah.
And it was the state attorney that was just as concerned for them as we were.
Hmm.
And they would be like, oh, I'm so mad to hear that Mr. So and so, slid back or had an episode or blah, blah, blah. Let's reset it in 2 weeks, see if we can get him back to compliance, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not a court, it's a therapeutic court. So they weren't quick to issue capiases or bench warrants if they didn't show, or like if they had an episode and they relapsed. Like it was just, it's exactly what the court should be if they really cared for the individual.
Shows
Okay.
you that if the system wanted to, they could get it right.
Uh,
But it's all right. We will leave it after that. But to be honest with you, though, I got a little emotional talking about my uncle. I don't know why. But even though we're talking about highlights of our week and things to come, there's still a little bit of heaviness.
Mm,
And those were good things. I'm coming to see you, and you're doing a job you feel aligns more with your values. But I still feel like there's a lot of heaviness because of everything that's happening in the US. I can't stop thinking about this inauguration. I can't stop thinking about the fact that people are losing everything in California.
mhm.
And it seems like the elected officials are more interested in other things. It's a lot. But I think that's a good segue into what we're mad about. So, Mary, do you want to tell the people what we're mad about this week? At least one of the things, because we always mad about a lot of things. Well, one of the things we're mad about this week.
Well, as you know, the fires in California, it's taken over in the news because of the damage that it's done, because of the amount of people that are losing homes, people that are missing. And there's so many levels to this, right? One of
Hmm.
the things that we're mad about is that 30% of the people that are to help put out the fires are actually prisoners who do not get benefits, who do not get a wage like everybody else does, right?
Yeah,
And they're not good enough to be back in society, but they're good enough to put in the front line of danger without giving them any benefits or anything like that, right? I'm thinking of
not
particularly a good friend of mine who used to be a firefighter who stopped because he said that his lungs collapsed from exposure of carbon monoxide and like fumes and all that, and how he's lost hearing from one ear. And so I'm thinking you have 30% of the people that are assisting with these fires that are incarcerated when their access to anything medical is already subpar. And now you're putting them here. It doesn't, you know,
it's not
that's
even just that. I'm sure they don't have the same training as firefighters do.
that
And
part.
also, can we talk about nutrition and the role nutrition plays in your ability to be physically fit to
Mm,
fight fires? Like people in prisons notoriously get fed disgustingly low quality food that don't have vitamins,
expired.
foods that are not nutritious, food that does not keep you like sustained. And these folks have to go back to their cells to eat subpar food. If you ever seen prison food, you would be absolutely disgusted. This is this is the worst thing ever.
This is America.
This is comparable to slavery.
Correct. 1,000%.
Comparable to slavery, working around the clock because these fires are uncontained. That means it's not like they can go and do 4 hours and be like, you know what? No, these
Let
people
me
are
tap out.
working around the clock. And because they are incarcerated, I am sure they're probably given the worst of the jobs. So they are probably the ones that are getting the most fumes, the most carbon monoxide, the most all of that. And to go back to being put in a cage at the end of the workday. And can we even call it a workday? It's an abomination.
You can't even, what can you even buy in commissary with that? Nothing.
This
Yeah,
is progressive California, by the way.
that part.
This is like the state that prides itself in being the progressive state, the forward state. This.
Hmm. What are you mad about?
I'm pissed about that. I'm very pissed about it because one of the things that you and I talk about a lot is the ways in which incarcerated people are consistently like disposed of in society. And now
Correct.
like there is the throwaway disposed of, but there's also this disposing of their time and their labor and their talent without reward as well, right? Like it's so annoying. But I'm also there's so many things that enrage me about this whole fire situation. Did you see online that folks were saying that like community organizers who were giving food to the houseless and to folks who were affected by the fire were getting ticketed by LAPD for
There's videos.
illegal encampment, for illegal food distribution. Is this hell? There's already fire burning. If we in hell, just tell us. If we're in hell, just let us know. Because you mean to tell me people have lost everything, and their neighbors who care about them can even give them a little piece of dry bread without being harassed? This,
That part.
Jesus help me. Capitalism is a severe stain on humanity
Mm,
because you people would literally found yourself in a position where you could extend empathy and humanity towards houseless folks or chronically houseless folks now that you are now houseless, but rather than do that, y'all rather turn against each other.
right.
Because this should have been a moment where people who are historically housed, middle class people, privileged people, because this is the Pacific Palisade. Like, we're not talking about like a poor area of LA now, right? So those are people who historically could say we never had experience with houselessness, food insecurity, and all of this stuff. This is the once in a lifetime like aha moment we needed to understand that the difference between being housed and unhoused is like a split second. Like,
Mm,
it's a life-changing moment that you have no control over, that can make a difference between you being fully housed and fully secure, and like fully insecure and fully unhoused. But rather than to tap in into the part of yourself where decency lies, maybe some of y'all are void of that. Maybe some of y'all are devoid of that shit. And then if that's the case, then Sky Daddy, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up, Sky Daddy, because you
not
know
Sky
what I'm
Daddy.
talking about. Hmm?
Not Sky Daddy.
Yeah, it's time to wrap this up, Sky Daddy. But if there is a part in us where empathy lies, where we can tap in and be like, let me try to see myself in this other person, this is the moment to tap into it. Because all of the ways you felt about the people on Skid Row, you are living their realities now. Like, you are living the reality of being somebody on Skid Row, and you still are out here giving tickets who are trying to come together and give y'all some food. This is wild.
I think it's how you said last week that it's the snake eating its head, right? Or eating its tail. Like, yeah, when capitalism will always collapse within itself and build itself back up. I mean, it's always going to bet on itself.
Did you see what I posted today on my story about what was happening in Santa Monica?
Talk to me. I read that you did two posts. What were they?
So, like, there was a post maybe a couple of days ago, a few days ago. Santa Monica police was going around Santa Monica saying this is a mandatory evacuation zone. You guys need to leave because the fire might get to you. Your home probably is going to burn down or whatever, what else. And my guess is people, probably in an attempt to save certain things, studied illegally, quote unquote, parking in the areas of Santa Monica that was not under any evacuation order. Well, parking enforcement was there today ticketing them for illegal parking. Capitalism is a problem, y'all. When you find yourself inhaling toxic fumes to go enforce parking
Hmm.
in an area where people are fleeing for their lives, you need to evaluate your purpose in all of this. Like, was I brought to this earth to be this damn slimy of a human? Was I created for the purpose of being manipulated by capitalism to the point where I'm gonna take my black ass and go distribute parking tickets to motherfuckers trying to survive? Yeah,
I mean,
the
yes.
state is to blame, but we gotta have some personal
Right. And it makes
responsibility.
me think of, there was an article that I read
Hmm.
of, um, how when we talk about the Nazis, how there were, yes, it was a collective, but there were individual people making choices to participate in this. And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's the individual conscious of the collective. And that's what needs to be examined. Because, girl, if that was my job, I'd be out there making sure people are all right.
Hmm. Say,
Who gonna check me?
you wouldn't even believe it. Every time I pulled out to a parking spot, they backed off and
Right.
ran
Who
for
gonna
their
check me?
lives. And also, whatever happened to, I'm just not doing that.
Mm, that part. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. California is definitely bringing light to a lot of issues that are happening
Hmm.
over there. And just like how they mentioned that the fire department budget was cut down to give it to the LAPD, and that apparently these types of wildfires are known in that area
Correct.
to happen about every 10 years, and they knew that we were around the time frame of it happening again.
Correct.
And you know what, it sounds a little bit like the conspiracy theories that we were talking about last week, but one plus one equals two. And you're not going to tell me that nobody had the consciousness to be like, you know what, more money to the LAPD when crime is down. Yeah.
When the LAPD is notoriously known for being the largest producer of criminal activity in Los Angeles. Everybody knows this. There's been documentaries about it, there's books about it, there's people of color's two eyes about it. Okay. People know that gang activity and criminal activities in the state of California, particularly in Los Angeles, are being fueled and funneled through this police department.
Mm.
Like,
And has been for a while. This is not new news.
it has always been this way from the
Right.
80s to today. And I'm sure before the 80s as well, but I
Correct.
know from as far back as the 80s. If you're looking for a corrupt cop, fly to Los Angeles and close your eyes. Chances are, first one, first one,
Mm.
first one. Funding that and then knowing that. But also,
Diabolical.
this is this is this is the harm of liberal politics, right? And
Mm.
this is why we need to talk, that people need to talk about liberalism as a societal ill as opposed to what people think it is. Because all of these people engaging in these budget cuts, inflicting real harm that we know for a fact these fires are going to hurt people of color more. They're going to hurt queer and trans people more. They're going to hurt all of these people, if it's not all of these intersection more. But y'all out here booty clapping for Gavin Newsom as a quote unquote liberal governor who loves queer people. And then what he's doing? Funding the police. That's what I'm saying. They literally putting a rainbow sticker on the gun that's gonna kill you. Gavin Newsom is a billionaire. He don't give a shit about none of y'all.
Mm.
Liberal politics is literally going to destroy y'all. Y'all have to understand this. Queerness and transness does not know social class. Race might, because people of a certain race, namely folks from the Caucasus Mountain, can choose to procreate with folks from the Caucasus Mountain. What they do not have control over is whether said child with two parents with translucent skin is going to be queer or trans. Okay?
Mm.
Being a white billionaire or millionaire, whatever Gavin Newsom is, his business partner is a billionaire, so I don't know what that says about him. Being a white, very wealthy man in California who believe queer and trans people should exist does not make you a good person.
Mm.
It does not even make you somebody with good morals. It does not even make you somebody who's semi decent. Gavin Newsom is the devil. When I saw this man showing up in the middle of these people being completely frantic with a news crew so he could have an Instagram moment, this is a man who built an empire, capital, and realized that money is not enough. Power is needed. Does that remind you of a certain orange president? Uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh. Because that's how it works, babes. Once they done hoard all the money that they can, then they're like, what's next? What can
Right.
I conquer next? What can I discover next? You are the discovery. Mhm.
Mm.
You are being conquered. Your attention span, your livelihood, your everything, that's what is fueling him now. He don't need nothing. He got all the money in the world. Now he wants attention. He wants power. And you're handing it to him and have the audacity to call him a good person.
Mm.
Well, honestly, enough about this man. Honestly, what we are going to do actually, Mary, if we could commit to that, is sharing some resources on our podcast page this week for folks.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a person that you know that's personally affected, that you think we could support, let us know. If you know anybody who has like a GoFundMe or something like a mutual aid thing that they are elevating, that we could elevate, not just on our podcast page, but on our personal pages, because we're still building this podcast. So our personal
Right.
pages got more followers than the podcast page. We are committing to doing that and doing whatever we can because we are all we got. This white man and his rainbow flags, this white man don't care about y'all. We are all we got, and we got to stick together and do the damn thing. Are we mad about anything else besides this white man?
Oh, we sure are.
What
Right.
are you mad about?
Woo, girl. So you and I spoke about this, in our regular phone calls
Mm-hmm.
and FaceTimes.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Stephen Twitch Boss.
Mm.
Many people know him from the Ellen Show. He's a DJ, but also was a performer, a dancer. And unfortunately, last year, he died by suicide and he left behind two kids and his wife. And
Hmm. Sorry.
that's what we were talking about. You want to tell the people what we're mad about, Alex?
Just about everything, but his wife is a bum. B.I. You know what?
So apparently, his wife. Let me take it over. Let me take it over, Alex. Don't
Do
worry
your
about it.
thing. Do your thing, because I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
nice to say.
So his wife just did an interview and she spoke about a lot of things that his family are rebutting, right? One of the things that she said was that he was abusing drugs and that apparently she had no idea until she was cleaning out her closet with her cousin or with someone after his passing and she found a box of drugs. That's number one. Number two, which you were the one that told me about this, she found his journals and we don't believe she published them, but she's been speaking about the contents in his personal journals that were never meant for anybody else but him. And she's been talking about trigger warning child essay that he experienced when he was younger. And she's going like on this tour of interviews that she's doing. I felt disgusted when I learned that she was even doing this. First of all, you and I talked about how I felt uncomfortable when she would dance originally. I felt uncomfortable when she danced after he passed. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe she's grieving. This is how she's dealing with it. It didn't seem natural. It almost seemed like she wanted to stay relevant. A year or two later, you are coming out to tell the world that your husband abused drugs, but you never saw anything, and to air out his deepest secrets when he's no longer here, but his kids are here, his mom is here, his family is here, left to deal with all of this. Disgusting. I was so appalled by that and the interviews that I've seen her do.
Listen to me. There ain't no amount of money in the world somebody could pay me to make me believe she ever gave a shit about him. That's my personal opinion. Respectfully. I might be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. But care and love are usually accompanied by certain actions.
Hmm.
And such actions are not present in this case. She never given a shit about this man. You cannot convince me of the contrary. The man that adopted your child, the man that provided you with a platform, that provided you with a life, that provided you with everything, lost in life in such a tragic way. And this is what you have to offer. Hell is not hot enough for this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, that made me sick.
Did you see the part where his family came out online and were like, we don't care about no NDA that we signed, but we gonna speak on this or whatnot? And then it
Yes,
came out that she had his relatives
right. I
sign
just said.
NDAs, non-disclosure agreements to attend his funeral. Now, we love Twitch. Those of us who are internet girlies who watch Helen, we love him, but he's not NDA level of celebrity. He don't need no NDAs, okay? So the fact that you just lost your husband and the first thing that came to your mind is, let me get a lawyer to write me an NDA for his mama?
I want to know what they know that she is purposely trying to keep hush.
So they're gonna tell us now. They're gonna tell us now. All bets are off. They're gonna tell us now. And I can't wait to see it because what would possess someone to go on the internet and disclose somebody's childhood trauma when this man was on this planet for 4 decades and never once spoke about it publicly?
Correct. Correct.
What would possess someone to do that? Now, let's take it one step further. What would possess a wife to do that to her husband?
To stay relevant.
I don't know my next door neighbors, and I think I care about them more than this woman did about this man. You know why? Because if something happened to my next door neighbors, I would not think it's appropriate for me to talk about it on the internet. Honestly. Honestly. Seriously. Seriously.
I'm just appalled. I'm appalled that you didn't think about protecting your children enough to be like, you know what? In a few years, they're going to be looking at the internet and see this.
Mary, these children's grandmother came on the internet and said that she is allegedly isolating the children from
And
the
that
village.
they haven't seen them since the funeral.
And that's alarming to me on several fronts. These are some black babies who's being isolated from their black family. These are some traumatized babies who were in a home with a father they loved that ensured that they were surrounded by his family, who not only found out they lost their father, but lost the entirety of the village and the unit that came with this man overnight.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not only does she not care about this man, she don't care about the babies either.
Mm.
Because everybody know when you are in an interracial relationship and have biracial children, children need to be exposed to both cultures, particularly when they're black, because they are in the home with a Karen, and this
Mm.
is peak Karen, right? In a world that see them as black. So now they're gonna leave your home with all of your Karen behaviors and be completely surprised that they are ill-equipped for the way the world perceives them.
Mm. Right.
All
Right.
because, all because you wanted this man's clout, you wanted this man's money, but you never wanted him.
Hmm. And you couldn't tell me, even when they were together, something fell off.
Hey, listen to me. If there was any doubt that they never made sense together when they were together,
Mm,
everything that has transpired since his death shows us that they were off when they were together.
correct.
Mhm.
Correct.
One of the things that I'm gonna say, and this is a highly controversial thing, my mother, may she rest in peace, used to always tell me, mamas are annoying. When your mama says she don't like somebody for you,
Mm,
she could see something you don't. She ain't lied just yet. And my mother been dead 17 years. And I have yet to test this theory and found it wrong. Your parents, they would come around and come to tolerate a relationship that doesn't feel right to them.
oh, girl.
But when that first instinct decision, trust it.
Mm,
Trust it. I would not be surprised if that boy's mama never liked it, that white woman. I would not be surprised because black mama be knowing. Black mothers be knowing. Mothers of color be knowing. Okay? My
mm,
friends who are Latinas be telling me when they brought their boyfriend home, mama was like, I don't like him. And she ain't been wrong yet. My
mm,
friends who are Asian be telling me, I bought my man home. My mama said, I don't like him. And she ain't been wrong yet. Women of color and their intuition, black women and their intuition,
girl.
play with yourself before you play with that. It's nothing to be played with.
Correct. 1,000%. Those are just a few of the things that we're mad about.
Enraged about specifically.
Correct. This week. And now to turn it over to some other news, we have lawyers in the news.
Oh, we're going to lawyers in the news. I'm excited about you doing lawyers in the news because I'm my girl. City girls. Okay, go ahead.
City Girls up. We're gonna.
17,000. You see what I did there?
I see what you did.
Mhm.
So, our lawyers in the news is a Miami lawyer argued in court that her man, who was 29 years her senior, gifted her 17 homes in Coral Gables.
Correct. Not one, not
Not two,
two, not three.
not four, but 17. 17 homes in Coral Gables.
That's right.
And that when she decided to break up with him, he raged out and sued her, saying that she played him and scammed him. And the courts agreed. What are your thoughts?
Um, my thoughts are complex. First of all, girl, whatever you rocking, I want it. Tell me your secret. You get a vaginas? Like, what other things, honey? Give me
On
that
a weekly
routine.
basis.
Give me the routine. 17. So I say this, right? For context, what the court found was not necessarily that the instrument could it secure her the 17th home, but rather that she utilized her position as an attorney to create a situation where she would benefit from all of these homes. And because she utilized her license and her knowledge as an attorney, then we cannot know in good conscience that this man fully understood what it is that he was signing up for when he gave her the power and authority to purchase these homes on his behalf, right? So I think that the court did not get it wrong.
Mm.
And I think that I'm going to tell you something. I think the court might have been more sympathetic towards this good sister if she wasn't so damn greedy. Girl, what? You wanted every single home? Like, you could have taken a solid half, could have gotten yourself a good 5 or 6. Why you wanted every single house this man got, girl?
17 in Coral Gables. Can we talk about that? Coral Gables? The
Oh,
most, one of the
expensive.
most, if not one, number two most affluent zip code in Miami.
Correct. And it's like, yes,
Mhm.
the articles, they do seem to have had a very legitimate relationship in the sense that they had tried to conceive.
For years.
There was a lot going on. And it's like, one of the things I hate when people do is when they see younger women who date older men and they're like, oh, she's preying on them. No, babes, they're preying on each other. This older man, he's getting something. Trust me, it's not called sugar baby for nothing. They're getting sugar.
Mhm.
Okay? They're shelling out the funds for sugar. And
And then mad when they get diabetes. Like, baby, what it?
clearly
Okay.
this woman had a relationship with this man that
Yeah.
involved something beyond the homes. And now she done lost everything, which I think in a way it's unfair. I think she is entitled to something. All 17 of them homes though, baby girl, you do too much. Baby girl, you do too much.
She do too much because we do too little. I ain't got no damn home under my name that no man has given me.
Read
But I
me
also
your
don't want to give no
spiel.
children.
Read me, sis. Read me. Because clearly I ain't doing nothing. I was in Miami for almost 2 decades. Where my house at? Where my house at? Correct. She definitely did too much, and we definitely done too little.
Correct.
Correct. I can admit my faults. However, so I
So
feel
she has a 2-year suspension. She's a tax lawyer.
yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm torn about this story because I don't believe this is one of those cases of somebody who's like predatory. I think this is a woman who anticipated being with this man till he passes forever, right? And inheriting all 17 of these homes legitimately. And set this up not to break up with him and defraud him, but
Mhm.
so that since they are not in a legal union, when this man passes away, his
Mhm.
relatives from wherever don't come out and take all of these things that she built with him.
Right.
So I don't think as she was building it, her thing was, I'm gonna scam this man and steal all his homes. I don't think that was the plan. So that's why I have empathy towards her because I think what she was doing is since this man is not putting a ring on it and he's not talking to me about estate planning, I'm going to secure a little of something that I helped build. And that's true. She helped.
A little something.
No, 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 no. That what I'm telling you is
I know.
that was her frame of mind, right?
I think it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't, right?
No,
Because a lot of women in her position end up getting kicked to the curb with nothing
mhm.
because they don't know any better. The damn if you do, damn if you don't comes in because she knew better. It's exactly what you're saying. She was setting herself up in a position where if this man leaves me in 2 years, I've given him 2 years, like I'm gonna be all right. Like Denzel says, I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah. But I think she was with him for way longer than that.
No, 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 for sure.
It doesn't say how old she is, but she's been barred since 99.
Yeah,
And she met this man when she was 36. So I know she's been with him for a hot minute. So this is where I guess my thing is, right? It's like I don't think this started from a malicious place. I think she was stuck though between a rock and a hard place because one of the things is when you're dating people who are significantly wealthier than you, approaching them about money things can become uneasy because you don't want them to think that you're only here for the money, right?
right.
But also she was like, if this man passes away and he's aging, all of these years, I mean, we're talking about her good years here, like her 30s to what her 50s, whatever. I don't know how old she is currently, but her good years with this man, and this man passes away, and a mother somewhere or some kid somewhere who probably did not invest in him half as much as she did will come and
Mhm.
get everything. I think
Hold on, girl. Apparently, she's a socialite.
she got funds.
She got funds on her own.
She got 17 homes kind of funds.
Oh,
But again, even if she's a socialite, regardless, if you spend so much time with somebody, you are entitled to get something.
right.
See, and I think this is the thing. I think what she should have done, and where I think she kind of messed up was especially if she comes from the world of money. She should have just told him, hey, listen, we either got to get a prenup and get married, or we have to create these businesses in such a way where not that I am owner of the business, but that there is a death benefit to the business
Mm,
so that when you do that, I inherit it. And I think if it was set up that way, then it would have been different. And also, a girl, and I think maybe that's where her being a socialite or coming from a rich family comes into play, because she was not in a relationship with a generous man. Can we talk about that? And that's a sign of love as well. When you
mm,
are in a partnership with somebody who's not generous towards you with their resources, that's a sign of a lack of care. She should not have had to scam her way into 17 homes. He should have had something for her. You are clearly using her talents. You're using her legal services. You're using her savvy. This man is not from Miami. So clearly you're using her knowledge
she is from Belgium.
to purchase in an area where you are always going to get a return on your investment. That is worth something. And yeah, the article says she charged for her legal fees, but I am 100% sure she did not charge him the way she would have charged me, because they were in a relationship. So she really got the short end of the stick here. So this is
Mm.
where my compassion for her comes into play. Where she got me all the way up is, girl, why the hell did you do this unethical? You didn't think, and also, why when you were breaking up with this man, you didn't tell him, hey, by the way, all your is in my name. So let me slide them back into your name, but I'm about to keep about 3 or 4 of them properties for my pain and suffering. Because if Mariah Carey
Well,
is allowed
period.
to
For wasting
for
my
wasting
time.
her time and they were not married, this sister should be allowed to sue for a couple of homes for wasting her time and her uterus. And her uterus. IVF is terrible to go through. Like,
Mm.
now she don't got nothing. So, did they make the wrong decision? No. Was justice served by giving this man all 17 of the homes? I don't think so. I think she should get something, but she fucked up. That suspension is warranted. So the suspension to me is warranted, but she should get something. What? How do you feel about it?
No.
She shouldn't get nothing.
I don't feel like it's warranted.
The suspension?
There was a time and place where you thought you and I were a couple. So you're going to tell me that you are a successful billionaire and you didn't know business before you got into a relationship with me? And you didn't know that 17 of these homes were being in my name? And now that I'm breaking up with you, you want to claim that I scammed you?
Yeah. He played good on that poor me, I'm old card.
No, I don't think so at all.
He made
I don't
use of
think
it.
so at all. I think it got messy because it was a relationship and all that. Fine. But there was no finding that she didn't explain everything to him legally.
No. They're saying he's just old.
Right. Also, now we're protecting these men who prey on younger women. And here's the other thing. She's a socialite. She has her own money. She's a tax lawyer. Baby girl was banking on her own.
Mhm.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with the suspension. I don't agree that she had to give them back.
Mhm.
Like I need to see that there was some investigation of incompetency, that she was taking advantage of this man.
Can we also talk about the fact that even the homes being in her name, and that's something we didn't think about because she's a tax attorney, right? Foreigners purchasing property in America, I believe, are taxed at a higher rate than US citizens residing in America, or not even US citizens, like US residents. So I wouldn't be surprised if he actually was like, let's put it in your name so I pay less taxes.
And here's the thing, it's not even in your name. It's in the LLC that she owned. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
So
it's, it's hers.
no, 100%. But you get what I mean? Like, if he really didn't have the knowledge or the ability to navigate that, he would have just put it under her name.
What I'm saying is that if it is in the LLC that she owns, why didn't he ask? I mean, this man is a businessman. Why didn't he ask to have his name on the LLC? That lets me know there's a tax benefit to not having a foreign citizen on the LLC that he benefited from.
And now he's fully benefited it. And now she's out 2 years, no practice. The embarrassment of her private relationship now becoming public,
Hmm.
and the fact that like she was accomplished before him.
Hmm.
Now it's like, oh, she made her way up because she was sleeping with money or whatever comes on after this.
Hmm.
No.
So you disagree with the whole thing?
Yes.
Mm. Yeah, but you're making me think.
He
What is this
milked
man
the
really a
fact that
victim?
he had a smart, beautiful woman by his side who was helping him make business decisions. You think she made that business decision on her own to put everything in the business? No.
That's what the court seems to think. Because he probably went in there on that poor me situation. He probably was like, "Oh, poor me, poor me."
The Supreme Court dictates my bar license, so I ain't gonna say nothing, but
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say this right now before I
I'm hoping
whatever.
there are more facts that we don't.
They 100%. Powerful white men love to prey on younger women, and so when that happens, you know, they can protect themselves with literally case law that they've created and carved out.
Yeah. So all in all, I would say that this was an interesting lawyer in the news because I get to say City Girls up or whatever, but something about it seems inherently unfair for her. I don't know. I can't put my hand on it, but something seems inherently unfair, and I'm not.
Also, Florida doesn't recognize a civil union. So, like you said, how long were they together? How long were they building with each other? Him using her brilliant mind,
Mm, yeah,
and she's asked out
that's not fair. I hope she
again.
finds some.
And if she's a socialite, I don't feel bad about her financially. Like, you know what I mean? But like you said, I do feel bad that what the do you mean that this man allowed 17 homes to be put under her business, and now he's saying it was I just you're right. There has to be more stuff that we haven't read. Like I was just reading the decision from the Supreme Court, and it doesn't give us all the facts, but there has to be something else because this can't just be it. That they couldn't have made that decision based on this.
Yeah. I personally feel like she should have played another card. I think he victimized himself. She should have victimized herself by saying, I was young, I was beautiful, I was taken advantage of. And then we would have had to make a balance of which victimization is graver. So I don't know. I would have loved to see the arguments that her
Right.
attorneys made, but
But girl,
something about this does not sit well with me.
right.
She's a pretty woman. I'm looking at her picture now. She's very standardly attractive, blonde woman, good set of features.
Right.
She doesn't look like she's in her 30s anymore.
She's a freaking tax lawyer.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me as a businessman that you were milking her knowledge and everything that she brought to the table. Like, F out of here with that. She has an MBA, LLM, a JD. Like, no.
Yeah, no, no, no. There is something inherently not okay with this for me.
Right.
And one of the things that I would say is this will always be my beef with Florida lawyers and the ways in which we have grown to be so fearful of the Florida bar
Mm,
that we do not even come together in solidarity. Because to me, if these are all the facts of the case, I feel like there should be some woman lawyer association right here that should be rallying behind this woman and being like, show us proof of fraud. We need proof
that's what I'm
of
saying.
fraud. because I moved with the assumption that if she was subject to a suspension, she moved these properties and did certain things with these properties without this man's knowledge. But the more we looked at it and considered the potential benefits of him having these properties under her name, under her care. I mean, this woman advertised herself as having a wealth management company. So this woman knows how to handle business. Who's the victim here? Because it sounds like he preyed on her and her expertise to build his wealth. And now he feels like once he broke up with her, she shouldn't have nothing. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, yeah, but she's foolish for not marrying him. A lot of these rich people don't want to get married for this exact reason.
Correct.
Sounds like he's the manipulator here. I don't know. I don't know. I can't know everything. I feel like I need to talk to her. So I need to know more. And it's not
Right.
because I want to be in her business. It's because I feel like she's being portrayed in a way that is completely inaccurate.
Right.
If she did something unethical in violation of the Florida bar rules, she needs to eat her suspension. But the portrayal of her, regardless of that, the suspension might be legitimate, but regardless of that, this portrayal of her as this scheming, gold digging woman, I think is a complete misrepresentation.
Correct.
Complete
Correct.
misrepresentation.
But it has to be done that way so that more people could feel comfortable being like, oh yeah, she deserves this.
Yeah, it has to fit into a narrative,
Correct.
and I would not be surprised if the person who wrote this article did not take the time to even do as much research on that woman as we did. They saw her, she walked in, she's a blonde bombshell, she's a beautiful woman, tall, beautiful, well kept, I'm sure, woman, and they were like, yeah, she's a bimbo. And just casted judgments against her and then wrote this article completely
Right.
mischaracterizing this woman's character. There has to be more to this story. I'm reserving judgment on this.
Okay. Perfect. You can reserve judgment and we can revisit it.
Yeah.
We can table it.
Yes. So we are getting close on time, but I really liked this lawyer in the news because it got us thinking and it landed us nowhere. And it's weird as lawyers though, but
Right.
it's like beautiful, right? Because it's like we can think of so many scenarios where this is wrong, but we can think of even more scenarios where there's nothing wrong and the wheels are turning. But I think that this lawyer in the news, though, is kind of almost a perfect segue into learning out loud because it's still
Mhm.
about like protecting yourself and protecting your
Correct.
rights and doing things by the book to protect yourself. So I think we're just gonna go into learning out loud, Mary, and then you're gonna give the people little gems. And I think these little gems are timely.
Yeah. So learning aloud this week has to do with learning your rights as a policyholder, right? We're looking at the fires in California. We have hurricane season starting in Florida in about 5 months
Hmm.
with flooders insurance. It's been raining here. My friends, it's been so cold here in Florida. Her pipes froze. So many things that you can't control, but so many things that you can. Today's learning out loud is be in the know of your policy, right? You don't want to try to figure out what your policy is in regards to a wildfire, in regards to flooding, in regards to insurance damage. Once you're already in the thick of it, you need to figure out where you stand now and if you need to adjust it accordingly. I don't know if you've read this. There's been many articles of people that are saying that last year, a lot of homeowners insurance dropped clients from the California area. The what is that area called?
No, the Pacific Palisades.
Yes, that they dropped a lot of people from that area prior to this incident happening, right?
Mhm.
And so the more you're in the know with what your benefits are, the better protected you can be.
Yes, for sure. Read the fine prints, reread the fine prints, and don't let
Get a lawyer to read the fine print if you need to.
these people play with you.
Correct.
This insurance business is a business that is based upon, and it's lucrative because they want you to pay for something that they hope never happens. And
Mm,
then when it does happens, they want to cut every corner possible so you don't get that money. So if you think of it that way, when you are getting your homeowner's insurance policy, what you really want to think about the worst case scenario and how you about to get them to pay.
mm,
You understand what I'm saying? Because while we're sitting out here not watching the news, not being connected to a lot of things, not knowing a lot of things, these insurance folks are doing research on your home and the things that could happen to it so that they can know when to drop you so they don't have to pay for it. Ask yourself this question, right? With the amounts of hurricane, with the amounts of all of these things that are happening, why is it that insurance companies never go bankrupt like that? Why is it that insurance companies have shareholders, record gains in a time where the climate is literally fighting us?
mm,
All of these insurance companies should be going under because the climate is like, y'all messing with the wrong girl. But we are not losing money because before they pay you what you deserve, they will drop you from the policy. And you're the one who's supposed to call and be like, I'll be damned. You got me all the way twisted. And you're supposed to shop around to find another company because this is outrageous. I saw a
right.
video of a lady that was talking about her parents being 90 years old, living in this community for 70 years, and having the fire part of their insurance policy canceled weeks before the fire. What does that tell you?
That tells you that you need to advocate for yourself and you need to be up, up, up on your policies. So this week's learning out loud. If you can't get through that paperwork and don't understand it yourself, find someone to help you through it. Because do not be the one that they play with.
Hmm. Still try to go to a lawyer. Let them tell you no, and still try to fight because this is your life's work. This is people's everything.
Mhm.
Like these companies, these insurance people, I'm sure their homes are intact. And if their homes are not intact, I'm sure they'll find a way to pull money from the company to pay insurance.
Mm.
So make sure you fight. And I know it's very hard because there's an emotional aspect to it as well, but you got to fight. You got to fight, y'all. So, on this note, Mary, anything else?
Nope. Thank you for another episode. Follow us on all platforms, L Out Loud Podcast. Send us an email, loutloudpodcast at gmail.com. And as always, bye.